Kenny Omega made an appearance on the Sessions podcast with Renee Paquette this week, talking all things AEW, New Japan, and a little bit of WWE too. Kenny Omega opened up with Renee. Renee's always good about getting the good questions out of people while keeping it in the context of just a friendly conversation. We're just two buds talking here and just having a conversation. And oh boy, did Kenny Omega open up in this one. I did pull two clips from this episode here, but the first one I want to talk about is the first time I've heard Kenny Omega actually address the AEW All Out Brawl Out situation, or the AEW All Out Brawl Out Fallout, if you want to be ridiculous about it. Seems like Kenny's kind of bound. You know, we heard Ariel saying, "What legal? What fucking legal?" Well, apparently there's got to be something, because Kenny kind of hinted at that, and he was a little bit tight-lipped about it. But without giving away any details or anything like that, Kenny was able to open up and at least express how he felt, how his little feelings were. Check out this clip.
What was the last year-ish like for you, being out with injury? The stuff goes down at All Out. You're away from TV for a while. What was that like for you, kind of just being removed from everything? What were like the ups and downs of that? Answer how you want. We can cut what you need. Up to you. Whatever you want.
No, I mean, I'll just be honest then. So I was happy that we were moving forward in a direction that didn't necessarily require me. I felt that now is a good time to get this stuff taken care of. And then I felt like 8 months had passed and it was time to come back. And it was kind of like the GIF, you know, of the dude walking in with the pizza boxes and the whole room's on fire. Yeah. And I didn't get it. I was like, what's with this strange atmosphere? What's with this strange aura? Why does something feel so ominous right now? And I didn't even know. I couldn't figure it out. And next you knew, there was more stuff happening. And I'm like, how? And again, like it's so surreal, because it's almost like it never even happened. It happened. Of course it happened. But I wasn't even, I hadn't even gotten like familiar with my surroundings yet, or re-familiarized backstage with the new AEW at that point. Because I mean, there are new people in the locker room. And a lot had happened in 8 months. So to kind of come back and see a lot of old faces and be like, oh hey, but then feel this eerie sort of, you know, to feel like I was in Erie, Indiana for a second. It's like, oh boy. And then stranger things started happening where I was like, oh man, what do I do? This isn't right. Someone needs to be the voice of reason. This is silly. And it's just like, things fell off the rails, and we were just involved in a very silly situation that people are probably going to be talking about for months and possibly years to come.
Does that bother you that people are going to be talking about that for so long, and sort of like the question mark?
There was a point to it all when I felt like, oh, this just happens. We're going to get over it. Let's just calm down and talk it over. No, nothing is. We're all doing okay here. You know, we're getting it out of our system. No problem. But let's maybe stop, you know? And just in the end of things, there were, it's just, we just don't live in that world anymore, I suppose. It's sometimes there are things, especially now when you're in a multi-billion-dollar industry where there are sponsorships on the line, TV deals on the line. It's not like
it's not the Wild West anymore.
No, it's not. And you know, it's not high school football. It's not a little tiff that you might have with someone on your fellow amateur wrestling team or whatever, or maybe someone held a submission too long in jiu-jitsu training. It's not that. And these things just shouldn't even be happening. So again, super big shame.
He had to be talking about CM Punk, right? That change in the atmosphere in the locker room. He didn't outright say it, but that's the difference, right? When Punk came in, that's about the time that Kenny was going out with the injury. So to get his surgeries and to heal and take his time off like that. So they never really got a chance to cross paths, and by the time Kenny came back, that very much was a different locker room. And look, there were other guys that came in too, and Tony Khan, by all accounts, had separated himself a little bit more from the boys, kind of created that buffer layer with Tony Schiavone and crew, his little talent relations team, to kind of separate himself a little bit from the talent. But it was very much all friends wrestling, and now it's just become kind of a wrestling locker room. Look, they just made a big deal about Eddie Kingston leaving AEW. Who knows? I mean, it appears to be just storyline, a way to write him off of AEW and into Ring of Honor, but I mean, it very, very well could be based on real life. Eddie just going to Tony and being like, man, I can't handle this locker room. Can I go to the Ring of Honor locker room or something? Who knows what happened behind the scenes, but there was definitely a change. Other people have talked about it as well. So Kenny's not wrong there. And he says it's kind of gone back to normal now. And what's happened since Brawl Out that may have allowed things to calm down and go back to normal a little bit. Could it be that Punk's not there? Now, there's plenty of people that are on Punk's side and say that Punk wasn't a cancer in the locker room. As Mark Henry said this week, that made the rounds. We're going to talk about that in a later clip, so not much on it there, but Punk has his supporters. It's not that Punk was just a cancer to the locker room. It's not like he was back there burning the place down. But it seemed like people were more on pins and needles, more tense. Just was not the friendly family atmosphere that it once was when Kenny was there. And to be honest with you, it sounds like Kenny is a little disheartened with it. And it might be time to bounce to the WWE. And Renee did ask Kenny Omega about this on the show as well. And Kenny was even less open about this one, but here's what he did have to say about going to WWE. We'll play that, we'll address that, and we'll kind of finish the whole clip up on the other side.
We move on.
Anyway.
We're trying to.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like I'm sort of talking out both sides of my mouth here, because at the beginning of the interview, I was like, there's no big headline things, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah, let's get the clickbait going. Come on.
But
let's talk about WWE or something. That'll do it, right?
We must. Well, legitimately, there's rumors swirling that your contract is coming up. Don't think I didn't notice your t-shirt. It did not fall on blind eyes. I do see the Sami Zayn t-shirt. Moving onward, your contract. What's the deal?
I don't know. What's the deal, right?
What's the deal? But that is, I mean, I feel like I see it everywhere of people speculating, people wanting all these, people want answers to things and blah, blah, blah. I would be remiss to not ask you. You can answer however you want. But yeah, it seems like time is ticking down. I mean, as one of, again, we can list off all the things that you've done in AEW, all the things you've done throughout your career. What do you want the rest of your career to look like?
Wow. I don't feel like I have too many goals or aspirations of my own anymore.
Is that funny thing to kind of sit with, of like, I've done all the things I want to do, now what? It kind of like switches your mindset.
It does, because I feel like, am I wasting my time here? Do I not even deserve my position if I'm not looking for some sort of measure of success for myself? Like, am I being ungrateful?
Yeah, he was playing a little coy there. But, the Sami Zayn t-shirt, he knows what he's doing. You don't just wear. And now, granted, he explained on the show that him and Sammy are boys. You know, they used to room together in Japan, I think, or whatever. But nonetheless, you know, he knows that that's going to get people talking and stuff. And there's rumors of his contract coming up. And, you know, Tony might have extended it due to the time off for injury. But, you know, there are rumors that WWE's heavily interested in Kenny Omega. And after the whole Brawl Out thing, Kenny sounds like he's kind of disenchanted with AEW. He's disenchanted with the whole thing. It's different than he thought it would be now. And he also doesn't sound very happy being an EVP. That's something that the Bucks have kind of hinted at. Cody has said it. That it's more trouble than it's worth, that it's easier to just kind of go back to being one of the boys again. I don't know. They have separate contracts, too. So I don't know that those are going to necessarily be re-signed by the Bucks or Kenny Omega when the time comes. And, you know, Britt Baker had said, and we're going to cover this in another clip as well, but Britt Baker had said this week that those guys are the foundation. Those guys, the original locker room in AEW, are AEW. And they're a very tight-knit group. And Punk did kind of come in and stir the pot a little bit, but he also did a shit ton of business. And just imagine now, if you will, if we could get all parties to get along. You know, the rumors have been buzzing about, is Punk going to come back again? You know, Punk's been in the gym. He's been working out. Rumors are that he's going to be ready to be cleared soon. He is still under contract. And, you know, he said that he's going to wrestle again just to piss off a fan. He said that on Twitter to somebody. I'm going to do it just to piss you off. And then somebody else had made a comment about we're ready to have Punk come back. And Punk replied to that guy with a LFG. Let's fucking go. Sounds like Punk's ready and open to it. Even in AEW, why not? Here's what you need to do. I still go back and forth on this. If you ask me week to week, God, it's so hard. Should Punk come back? Is that going to be damaging to the AEW locker room again? Is that going to drive away the Bucks and Kenny Omega? Or some of the other top stars as well. God damn. But if you could do business with CM Punk, here's what you do. Punk comes back and he does an angle with the Elite. And it builds to him versus Kenny Omega at like All Out or a Double or Nothing or one of those fucking things. And you build it for almost a year, you know, half a year at least minimum. To Punk versus Omega one-on-one, and the Bucks versus FTR 3, the rubber match. And all in between, as you're building this up, you can do 6-mans, you can do Matt Jackson versus CM Punk, Nick Jackson versus CM Punk, Dax versus Kenny, Dax versus, you know what I mean? Like, you can really draw some money with a feud. Just fucking imagine the Elites in the ring cutting a promo and CM Punk's music hits, or vice versa. Punk's music hits, he makes his big return to whatever reaction that's going to get. He's cutting his promo, and then the Elite interrupts. Carry on my wayward son. Didn't hurt your eardrums, did I? I'm sorry. Sorry if I offended your fucking eardrums. There'll be peace when you are gone. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. Dun, 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 na, 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 na. Okay, I'm done. I'm fucking done. But imagine the money that you could draw if that story was told right, if everybody's willing to play ball for the money. Big main event spots, huge main event angles, real life, behind the scenes realism bringing to the story. It would draw so many fucking eyeballs. it would be the biggest story since the Bloodline. Could be. Possibly. Get some smart people in there. Get everybody involved to tell that story. The problem is, Punk ain't ever going to apologize to anybody, ever. He's not going to come back and be like, he's not even going to do the thing, if I offended you, I'm sorry. He's just going to say, fuck off. He'll apologize to people that he didn't mean to hurt. You know, if you pissed off like a Britt Baker, for example, Punk would probably apologize to her, but he ain't going to go in there and be like, oh, I'm sorry, Kenny, and I'm sorry, Nick, man. Gosh, darling, I got heated. No. He's going to have the same fuck you attitude, and he'll talk the same shit if you ask him about it again. That's CM Punk. He'll never change. He'll never change. It's how he always was. That's why everybody hates him. Even Roman Reigns was on record somewhere this week. I don't fucking know. I saw that he had a comment that he didn't like Punk, and he doesn't know anybody that does. So. But FTR likes him, and that's why FTR and Punk versus the Elite. Just do a huge half a year program at least with those guys, and you can just print your money. Just print that shit. You know, it could be a pick 'em. Crowd can pick their heels. Whose side you got? You know, one's a babyface, one's a heel, but it's going to be depending on which side you take. Or you could do a clear, definitive babyface and heel. Either way, hopefully Kenny Omega doesn't leave AEW until they're able to do some kind of business like that. But we've heard that the Elite's petty, and we've heard it more than once. And as much as they like to go around and play babyface with themselves and say they're Christian AF and try to, oh, you know, Kenny was on this interview. Oh, we don't try to walk around like we're anything bigger than the boys, you know, and our doors are always open and anything we can do to help, blah, blah, blah. They play games. Dax has damn near outright said it. Corny has said it for Dax because he probably knows. And you can see it in the booking. When the booking completely doesn't make sense. When all roads lead to FTR being the belt collectors, collecting every single championship in the entire fucking business in one monstrous run. And they're tied 1-for-1 with the Young Bucks, building up to their biggest show of the year, or one of the biggest. And then they just take a hard... Bucks are the tag team champions. It writes itself, right? All roads lead to... the momentum's there. The belt collectors, the guys winning every belt in the world, are coming back around to get those AEW titles again on their belt collecting run in the rubber match. Tied at one apiece, it writes itself with the backstage behind the scenes supposed beef. Makes all the sense in the world. Bucks take a hard right turn. Nope, we're trios champions now. Fuck off. We're going to drop the belts to the Acclaimed or something. Fucking Swerve and Keith Lee. It doesn't matter. It's just we're not going to do that match. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to go play over here in the 6-man. So, doesn't make booking sense. I would have put my foot down as Tony Khan. That just, I mean, booking's not hard. You got to follow the momentum. Yeah, I mean, you got to point people in the right direction, but do the thing, watch the crowd, book accordingly. Everything was leading to that. And you can still go back to that now. Like, the momentum's dead. You know what I mean? By the time, and that's why I predicted when FTR was going to face the Acclaimed for the tag titles, they weren't going to win it because their momentum was over. They've lost all their worldly titles, you know, literally all of them. They have no belts anymore. And in fact, it sounds like they haven't even heard back from AEW on if they're going to be brought back to the company at all. Fucking A Christ. Tony does bad business. He's all around. There's a lot of shit that makes me cringe there. I'm getting a little off topic. Just to wrap this up, there's tons of fucking business that can be done there. There's a huge built-in money-making, pay-per-view selling, ratings drawing, storyline angle to be told should CM Punk come back and just be willing to work with the Elite. Don't need to apologize. Don't need to like the guy. Don't got to be friends. Can you have a wrestling match together? Can you speak about your grievances about each other over them on live TV? Just here's a microphone. Tell us what you think about the Young Bucks. Here's a microphone. Tell us what you really think about CM Punk. Stand back. Print the money. It's easy. But where I was getting at is the Elite's got a history of being petty and just fucking not wanting to play ball and just walking away from money-making, built-in, makes tons of sense storylines that even if Punk came back, I can imagine the Elite just saying, no, fuck them, not going to work with them. You know, we got Bret and Shawn that have worked with each other, and Punk idolizes Bret Hart. So if anybody can at least understand that you can make money with people you hate and that people know you publicly hate, it's CM Punk. But I don't know that the Elite would be down for that. But are we going to get that, or are we going to get the Elite, or at least Kenny Omega, moving on over, making the big leap over to the WWE? Time will tell. I do think he's going to make that jump. That is actually my prediction. In a perfect world, I would love to see the FTR versus Elite, CM FTR, whatever the fuck they call themselves, that trio versus the Elite. But what we're probably going to get is, I bet you the entire, both the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega are going to leave AEW for the WWE. They're going to try to be the Radicals and make that jump. And if they're able to bring Max over too, when his contract's up, AEW is going to be in a very rough place. But that's just my 2 cents on the whole thing. I know I've gone long-winded on it. This is a continuing story that is just endlessly fascinating. I'm a huge CM Punk mark, and this is a fun story, and I would like to see it play out in the ring, but who knows?
Oh yeah, thanks for checking out the video. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like it if you liked it. Yeah, and you can check out full episodes each and every Sunday right here on the channel. Oh yeah, dig it.